pretty sure, but I don't remember.
Hey, y'all. Andrew Reed, Mossy Creek Mushrooms. This is the MushRune Cast. And I remembered to do that this time, and I even said that in the first intro, and I remembered to do it that time, too. But...
It says turn the mic on.
The mic's on. I got it. I got them on now. So, with me today is, of course, my ever-lovely wife, Samantha, who has been introduced, and my ever-lovely partner, Josiah from E.T. Fungi.
Thank you, Andrew.
You're
We're
welcome.
just trying to teach everyone to learn to read lips here.
Yeah, you know, I thought we'd learn. Did we do class in sign language today? So now, I don't know why that keeps happening. I'm going to check my software every time from now on to make sure that that button is on because I don't know why it keeps getting turned off automatically. However, Samantha, today's topic was sticky situations, and if you folks don't know what we mean by that, because you also read my description that I wrote late at night, we could deal with a little clarification. So, Samantha, since this was your idea, what is a sticky situation in this definition and context?
All right, so we've got some good feedback. If we're loud and clear, we're good to go. So,
Very good.
Excellent.
this episode was a test in lip reading, like Josiah said.
Brought to you by ASL.
Yeah, we should sponsor that. You know that?
They should sponsor us.
So basically sticky situations where you kind of find yourself in a less than ideal situation. My whole thought on it was, talking to friends, going to restaurants and delivering, and kind of hearing them all sort of talk amongst themselves about situations that were less than ideal that they were able to work through, through being clever and through working together. And so that's just kind of, it was really on my mind and on my heart this week. So that's why we did all this. So sticky situations, one of the things that I thought about the most was, there are times when people approach us and they want mushrooms last minute. What do you do? What do you do in that case? How do you get yourself, out of that and help them out? There's just all sorts of things that you can think of that at some point or another, one of us or all of us have gone through. And I can't say, Josiah and all of us, we were talking a little bit before we started, how relatable some of the things that we were talking about. All of us nodding our heads, all of us like, oh man, we've been there. Then this is how I handled it. So this is for you guys, things that we've gone through, sticky situations that we have found ourselves wrapped up in and dug our way out. So anyhow.
Okay, so sticky situations. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to put that succinctly. Josiah, you got an idea of how to put that?
So yes,
it's kind of like the Fifth Element, like Lilu, blah, 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 blah. No,
we can literally start with fly traps and fruit fly infestation if you want.
Yeah, so I thought of this as a kind of a neat follow-up on last week. I look at it as fail-safes are everything you can do to try to save your ass, and sticky situations are, the times that no matter what you do, stuff's is gonna happen, and you can be all the prepared in the world, and you're still gonna have to be able to adapt and think on the fly, and solve these. That's how I think of it.
I like that. I'll deal with that. I like Samantha's, and I like your definition.
I was about to start rambling and going and making it just as long as hers.
It's easy to do.
It is.
And then you kind of find yourself in a sticky situation when you don't know when to stop.
Talk more. No,
right,
talk less.
Yeah, a silent man rarely makes mistakes. No, I'm just playing. On a show, that would be a big mistake, so I guess I'll talk. But
especially on a podcast.
I know,
Come on
right?
now.
Okay, I like that. So I feel like, the Bilbo and the Dwarves and the spider isn't such a bad way to go with it. I'm glad I took that descriptory path, we'll call it. But
You made that harder on yourself.
I did. I really did. I wanted to use big words. So
well done.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay, I have an example from this week, but does anybody else have an example they want to go through first, or?
Let's start it.
Okay.
Do it.
I'll do it. So this week, we had a pretty sticky situation. It actually started sometime last week, in that we we fell behind on production just a little bit, right? Not a big deal, a couple of days. That's usually not a big deal, but we do have a capacity for how much we can actually produce, which is, we can only produce, it's maybe like 550 blocks. Oh, sorry, I got you right in the middle of the drink. But it's something like 550 blocks maximum is what we can produce in a week. Well, we now, with the amount of grow rooms we have a standard that we've got to produce for ourselves to meet our restaurants, and then we have a certain amount that we've got to produce for block clients. And of course, the problem with block clients is that they pay ahead. So if I'm short, I have to short myself. And that's a suck problem. Like, that's a really, because you and I both know, Savannah knows, it's the money you make off mushrooms is 4-fold, 5-fold what you get on blocks.
Absolutely.
Like, blocks are not really, they're good cash flow, but they're not a great way to make money unless you're doing a lot of them. So falling behind is not a great option for us, but we did fall behind. Well, lo and behold, steamer had trouble last night or yesterday. So the steamer was just dumping water and lime all over the floor, which I saw your face. It's not the way that you want to go. It's not the way you want to end the day.
Oh, at the end of the day,
it was too. At the end of the day, yeah.
Oh,
so gosh. We were like, great, we're already behind slightly. So this thing is, but we were already, you know how it is. So we have, at all times, we try to have a load in the steamer, a load in the lab, and then a load getting made. So that there's always blocks in the steamer, there's always blocks in the lab, unless they were literally just produced in the lab. So now that that's the way it is, we're now even further behind because our schedule is off, because we've already done the lab work, and now the blocks are all off schedule.
Yep. Mushroom farming.
Yeah, mushroom farming. It's super fun.
The train wreck, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the Cascade.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I told you I was reading Caliban's War.
Yeah.
So I'm reading the book. Anyways, he's talking about ecological collapse in that sense, but it's called the Cascade, where it's not the problem that you noticed first that gets you, it's all the 100 other little problems that eat at you as you go along. And each one compiles and makes the next one worse. It makes getting back to normal that much more difficult.
Yep.
So that's kind of what we've run into. So I knew a little trick that Jack didn't. See, I still do know some things, Jack. Which is we just doubled our spawn rate, 2 days out of 5. I mean, we went from doing 1 5-pound block and 30 fruiting blocks to one 5-pound block of grain to 15, and doing that on some of them, they're going to get hotter. We got to make sure that they're in the coldest space, that they're not touching, because they will overheat. But it's a good way to catch up, because, and if we wouldn't do it all 5 days in a week, because if you did that, you'd have a massive amount, come do it at once. But
yeah,
that's our little trick, is that we had that sticky situation where, the more you move about, the more you thrash about, the more the webbing grabs you, right? The more you freak out, the more all these little problems compound. Like it would be a downward spiral really quickly, where you have to short someone, or you have to stop, or you just have to take the hit and not make the amount of money that you were going to make. You have
to come buy blocks from me.
I know, right?
Goodness.
Yeah. I might have to do that. I might have to do that after all.
I have a rack. I have a whole extra rolling rack that's going to go probably into the walk-in.
Yeah, there you go.
We emptied incubation today. That's a good solution, though. So did you? I don't know. I guess I'm thinking like you looked around at what you did have.
Yep.
To be able to solve that problem, but that's
yeah. I mean, so and I don't know if we're ready to announce it entirely, but so our grain spawn's cheaper on our website already. We actually just lowered our we are now competitive with like North Spore and everyone else for custom orders. They get out the door pretty quickly. We also have a bulk spawn page that we're preparing, which is where people can buy for like $25 a bag. They have to buy a minimum of 4, but they can buy whatever we're growing seasonally. And the reason why is because we're doing a massive amount of grain spawn through that new autoclave and everything else. And it's allowing us to produce high quality spawn in numbers, and more cheaply than what I was able to do before. Well, because of that push we actually had the spare grain to you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
like,
to be able to, you saved yourself in one other area. I mean, by kind of,
So we're able to double up spawn, and it's actually not going to hurt us at all.
Heck yeah.
And in fact, this bulk spawn that we're producing, should like it's what we're trying to do is have enough of it on hand at all times that when people order it, it ships out the same week, which is going to be killer to have it that cheap and that fast. But in order to do that, that means that we've got to have extra, which the only way to do that is to produce, a lot of what we're already doing. So, and I don't know. The timing just worked out. I didn't mean to do it, but I'm glad that I had that little, that piece of my arsenal. So,
dude, that seems to happen to me so often.
Timing?
That it works out.
Yeah.
That it's like,
That's why I don't freak out
just
anymore,
say
man.
the mushrooms, like, in a weird way, kind of take care of themselves. That it's, you've got to pay attention and look around at it, but like by stopping and not panicking and immediately going, okay, what do I have? How can I solve that? It's
the panic that will kill you. It's always the panic.
100%.
Yeah, and I get it, man. Well, like, I'm sure you've been there because I know you, and I know you're kind of an anxious person. You can sometimes, I could feel like I could wring it out of you.
Yeah,
but
it is me. It's my essence.
You can certainly wring it out of me.
Yes, Samantha will get so anxious that you can like feel it 3 rooms over in the house. You know what I'm saying? So
that vibration.
Yeah, absolutely. But and I used to too. I used to freak out like crazy. But man, I almost put myself in the hospital one time. I remember freaking out so much I had a panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. Oh,
was this mushroom related?
It was mushroom related. Yeah, like I had sold a bunch of stuff. It was actually back during our Kickstarter where we had like sold a bunch of stuff through the Kickstarter and did not realize how much money and everything else it would actually take to do that.
Yeah.
And so we ended up losing money and being late on orders and not, get like people's addresses changed as the fulfill and like it just. I thought I was going to die.
Dude, being on the hook for ready to disappoint that many people is a mini night just thinking about it. I'm like, I got baby steps to getting yourself into situations like that.
Well, and I should have. No, I jumped feet first, man, into all of this. So, but the good news is that, I through all of that, I feel like I have actually become a much stronger person. I don't freak out about things. At some point, I learned that it usually does all work out. And it's weird because, like you said, that it happens over and over and over again. The timing just works out every time. I always get what I need right when I need it. And
in weird ways, I mean, the amount of times I've had something weird like production gets bumped a day or we have an equipment failure that it goes down for a day or something, and then a couple weeks or a month down the line, a market gets canceled or like there's something that evens out with it. And it's like, what? It just, let it work out. It's just kind of been what I try to say to myself. Just
so mine, like you've seen the tattoo with that right there.
Yeah.
That whole tattoo and the go with the flow key that Samantha made, that whole go with the flow attitude was literally just me in I hope my mom is not listening, mushroom trip. Where I literally just like, as I was there, I was freaking out, and then I closed my eyes, and I was a deep sea vent creature, right? Just sitting there in the like, I had my back to the fire is really what it was, and it, but every time I opened my eyes, there would be like 10 more of myself, and then like I would close my eyes, and then there would be like 10 more of us, and then over and over and over again, and it was just like sitting in the flow, getting what I need. Not worrying so much about being this thing or that thing or being, just live the life, chug along, go with it. And that has served me more than probably anything in business has, is that when shit hits you, man, you just, okay, it hit me. Now I flow around, go around, keep going. So
it's the, what is it? The something against fear from Dune.
The litany.
The litany against fear. Yeah, that I will let it wash over me and like turn to see that nothing remains but me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That has been something that's stuck with me since middle school, and high school again, because I read it multiple times.
Yeah.
And it really helped me kind of through my teenage years in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So we've actually had our son read it through, now that he's 15, he's gone through and read it. But
some wisdom in there,
Oh yeah, for sure.
big time.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. But
And then something-
Cheryl just put, "I must not fear."
Right. Something else that came to mind too, whenever you said it seems like something bad happens, and then something else will just come right along with it to join. There's an old saying that says that things come in threes, and so 2 things will happen to us, and we're like, all right, where's the third one? Come on,
Right? Yeah.
sock it to me.
Yeah, ready for
But
it.
and then something else that comes to mind as well is if you are in a spider web, so to speak, kind of like what's on the thumbnail, and in so many instances, the more you struggle, the tighter it becomes, the more it wraps around you, and you just can't move, and you can't. That goes along the line too of Andrew talking about the flow and just letting it wash over you again with the Dune reference, and it's important. And that's been my lesson of 2020, 2021, and now into 2022.
Yeah.
Just a forevermore reminder.
Always. It's a fun one to say. It's a easy one to forget.
Yeah.
I mean,
no kidding.
That is the truth.
yeah.
Speaking of, do you know what the word Spannensbogen? Oh, okay. We got that from Dune. Spannensbogen, the self-imposed delay between the desire for a thing and the reaching out to grasp that thing. Spannensbogen. It's somebody, Kynes says that the Fremen have that ultimate quality known as Spannensbogen. So
Okay.
yeah, and that has also served me really well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh dear.
Huh. So I don't know if we've got a problem with the actual stream, because the stream seems like it's acting okay, but in my software I've got some choppiness. So if anybody sees that we've got a lot of choppiness or a stutter or something, please let us know in the chat so that I can try to fix it as best I can, or we can start over. So, but
Cheryl posted the.
she posted the whole thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Cheryl. It's beautiful. That is one of those things I like to write it down often. If I come across it or something, I'll just jot it down real quick, or just I come across it randomly. I'll have like a notebook and I've turned to the back and wrote it down, and then I make my way to it a year later. And
I
it's
like that. That
oh,
way
hey.
it continually keeps coming back over and over again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I put little things in my wallet and stuff like that. I randomly, it's like, oh, hey. You also recognize if you've been true to it. You're like, oh.
Oh, yeah, it's easy.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
There have been times when I've become overwhelmed with a few things, and I'll just go and sit in the local culture room and just hear everything stir and just kind of take a moment to breathe and just check everything out. It's growing. It's doing its own thing. How can I really hurry it? You just have to be patient. You just have to, just wait. Just wait and be patient.
I like that. We'll let you guys converse for a second while I try to fix this, because said that we are dropping some frames. So
Uh-oh.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Darn it.
well, it'd be all right. It's just in fact, it seems like it's evening itself out. I think we had a problem. I don't know if it was with the net or what. So, but everything actually seems to be much closer to what it's supposed to be. So.
All right.
Well.
We strive to be better.
Indeed. So John Grady's got a quote here. I actually like this. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than clothes? Is that actually from the Bible? I think, isn't that before the see the lilies of the field, they spin not, yet they are adorned more radiantly than all the stars? I can't remember. Shoot, it's a beautiful piece of scripture, but
I don't
actually
remember
know.
that part.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as strong on it as I used to. I probably need to go back and reread the Bible, because I used to know it better than any person I ever knew, and now I've probably not picked it up in 10 years.
There are so many good quotes popping up here.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to become the quote show.
Oh, this is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Well, I'll quote you on that.
the quote show. We're all stars here. Give us another sticky situation, Josiah.
Well, I guess the one that we've talked about a little here is this could be caused. We'll just chalk it up to overproduction, to winding up with the opposite of your problem.
Okay.
So be this. In my experience, last year I ran into this multiple times. I didn't have a mini split yet, and when it got really hot outside, like hot days for an extended period, I could not. My grow room would fluctuate to the point that I plant twice a week, and that second planting would decide to join the first. And I have double the mushrooms for a farmer's market.
Yeah, I know this problem.
Yeah, and so, oh man, I mean, we've had, and then another thing. So a farmer's market getting canceled is another thing that can happen that puts you with potentially a lot of mushrooms.
Especially if you're doing like you do and you're doing multiple markets.
Exactly. Yeah, that can be a sticky situation.
Yes, it can.
And then there have been times where we've had multiple restaurants cancel. After we already grew them for them, they're packaged for them, they're ready to go. I'm about to, head
It's funny.
out here.
Samantha used to like the freak out at me because I'd be like, "No, send it," and she'd be like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, send it.
Just send it.
Just send it and,
Deliver it
and charge
anyway."
them and deliver to them." I was like, "No, it's not going to sit. Blocks aren't going to sit in that grow room for 2 weeks for them." And then they get the right to refusal. They can refuse next week's, but not this week's. No.
Yeah.
And I'll show up, and I've never had anyone turn me down. So they still they pay up.
Yeah, there you go.
And especially after I explained to them, like, man, you don't understand. I'm paying for supplies weeks in advance.
Yeah.
I'm paying employees 6 weeks before you get the mushrooms, and then the amount of blocks I have in there for you mean that I can't grow them for someone else.
Yeah.
And I've already made the sale. And if you think that it's easy for me to just pivot sales, it's not always easy just to pivot sales. It's why I like getting people who sign up for a certain number of cases per week.
Yeah.
So
It's also stressful to have to pivot sales. Like just
Yeah.
if you set yourself up to do that, and this is kind of what I'm trying to maneuver out of with just getting in there and offering and having availability kind of last minute, switching that down towards like, okay, we're bigger, need more reliability, but a lot of it seems to be solved by communication with the chefs.
Yep.
As long as you don't storm in there and give me my money, but if you most of them
go ahead and just explain it.
explain why it is, how the farm works. I mean, most of the time,
Why this hurts me so much.
exactly
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's not as simple as, hey chef, I'm not going to have mushrooms for you this week. Why don't
Yep.
you order from Cisco? I'm sorry for that, but you still have mushrooms. Or they can order from Monterey's or Dixie Produce or
Yep.
golly, I don't even know who else.
Or all the other awesome mushroom farmers that are popping up.
That's true. Yeah. So the lady that's with us right now lives in Maryville, and that Houston Shiprock.
Yeah.
Shiprock mushrooms. He's in Maryville? South Knoxville.
South Knox, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got 2 mushroom farms look like they're popping up, but
Yeah.
I don't. Samantha and I have like talked about this because we were actually kind of excited because, okay, we're that's more people for me, I get to sell to potentially, but B, it ends up being the network grows stronger.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I feel like the network is there. You got to have your 13 dwarves and your thief. If you don't have your thief, all your 13
Yeah.
dwarves are gone. So
Exactly. that in itself is another. I don't want to stray too far from the first one, but that is kind of a sticky situation in different areas encountering, other farmers. Particularly at the farmers market is where I have the most experience in dealing with. But
yeah.
back when it comes to dealing though with like having all that excess mushrooms, did you guys have it? Have you come up with anything creative before my half-ass attempts at?
So for me, and Samantha can go next and see if she's got a solution for that. But for me, it's always trying to have chefs that are on like a waiting list.
Okay.
But that's not always possible.
I mean, that's a nice spot to be in.
It is, but
Yeah.
our waiting list right now is pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because we've not been sending samples out hardly. We did one day like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And we got a couple of restaurants that are interested off that.
That's a solution right there too.
Samples.
Yeah.
And that was actually, I think that was what we did, was that we actually overproduced accidentally. Or we may have had somebody drop out, and then we just, where they were like, what do we do with it? And I was like, send samples out.
We overproduced intentionally just to see how much we could produce, period.
Oh, that's right.
I remember that.
Yep.
And then we sent out sample cases.
Okay.
And we were planning on doing, a few. I mean, you could take the opportunity to do some YouTube videos on cooking with mushrooms. You could take the opportunity to do
That's
so many
good.
other things.
Yeah.
I mean, the abundance doesn't have to be seen as a loss.
No, because you don't have to just turn them into direct money. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I know that does hurt, especially if you're on the wire.
Right.
It does.
And we've been there.
And you can, well, I think also what you're describing too is the more you practice this, the more they will turn into money solutions. So
Yeah.
we are finally starting to do beef jerky. I mean, there you go, mushroom jerky. Dude, we didn't have any jerky for you. I'll bring you jerky next week. There's a batch on the dehydrator right now. But
Yes, please.
That was something that came from overproduction. And I've been blown away at the markets with how much, well, I guess just in general, stuff people will buy. I mean, people are interested in lots of stuff you can do with dried mushrooms.
Well, so we actually have someone in the chat that says, with excess mushrooms that I can't sell, they get dehydrated and ground up for spice mixes. Pretty darn good on veggies. And that's brilliant. I like that idea a lot.
We sell that at the market.
We used to just do mushroom powder. I never did a spice mix, but I probably could. But what I used to tell, like, these little old ladies would come up and ask, what do you do with mushroom powder? And I'm like, just use it like a seasoning. And they're like, how? And I'm like, you make mashed potatoes? And she's like, yeah. I was like, just sprinkle it on mashed potatoes. And they're like, nuh-uh. And I'm like, yeah, I kid you not. Like, if you put black pepper on there, put black pepper, salt, some mushroom powder, it'll change your life.
Old Road mushroom powder.
Oh my goodness! Why have I not thought of this?
Yeah, it's good. Good
And,
stuff.
We typically
we made so much money on mushroom powder because, like, I don't know how you do it, but we would do it in like 4 dram vials, 8 dram vials, and then jelly jars.
Oh, okay.
And the jelly jars would be a massive discount off, but the 4 dram vials we'd sell for $4, 8 dram vial for $7, and I mean, and it's a tiny amount of mushroom that actually goes into that. So you ended up making money hand over fist.
Yep.
Just on the mushroom powders. We should look into that more. That actually would spice blend like steak rubs and stuff, because that was my favorite thing to do.
Yes.
Was you're saying yes, so you already know.
Yes.
So.
Oh, yes. No, yeah. That's ever since I watched you have my goodness, Texas Fungus Adam came on. They have like a few of those
smoked
spice
salt. And,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh my.
We tried those and they were awesome.
Oh,
They were
that made
really
some
good.
of the. So I will say it made the best steak I've ever had, except for one of those powders had chestnut mushrooms in it. And I'm allergic to it.
You can't do
I
chestnut.
can't, yeah. Like, I started eating the steak, and it was amazing tasting. But I was like, this is amazing tasting. Why is my mouth itchy? Yeah, so.
Can't breathe.
Right, yeah. Oh, my
Yeah.
face is swollen.
That was only one in particular, and it was
Yeah.
like a mix or a medley or something.
They had a dark, it was visibly darker. And it was like, so they had like an oyster salt. Which I think they made with pink oysters. And I will say that a lot of people down on pink oysters, but man, they make an incredible powder. It's the best powder. It's pretty, number one. And
It
it's
has a very robust flavor.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good way to treat that kind of toughness that pinks naturally sort of have.
That actually sounds like a really good idea for pinks.
yeah.
Yep.
Like, legitimately, I've now that we're talking about this, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Jack has been telling, we have block clients that order pinks. And because our rule is we always overproduce on anything, we overproduce on pinks, which means that we're growing them, which I hate growing pinks. But now that we're doing that, I'm thinking what I'll tell is they will stop putting them in boxes. They'll just go straight to the dehydrator, and we'll start making pink oyster mushroom powder and add a little seasoning, salt, and pepper to it, and that'll be a steak rub right there. I like this, Josiah.
Yeah, so we just got these little packets like this. Nothing final, but we're toying with different sizes so we can do exactly that.
The foil and paper packets?
Yeah. Just kind of basically selling a single-use thing that you could, rather than the big jar of it, something that they could come back and grab every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cheryl, you are right. You do need a commercial kitchen to produce that stuff, but we have chefs that we can hire their kitchen crew at cost.
Yeah, so...
well, you got it with like frog juice or something, right?
So, I mean, this is one of the thing where, there's places you can, in our city, there's at least 2 or 3 of the kitchens with space for rent. They can, a lot of them will even let you, you can rent space to keep all the equipment and stuff. Talking to people at the farmers markets has been even better for me because someone has a commercial kitchen. And, I mean, if you can make your, we worked with it's a company that they're interested in our product and potentially collaborating. So it just kind of made sense. But that is something that, most places are gonna require a commercial kitchen.
So if people are thinking about doing this, then Josiah, like he talked about people at the farmer's market, anyone who's got a commercial kitchen rarely uses it 24/7 and will oftentimes rent it out to you or even let you use it for free in exchange for some product or just because they like you. And another place is churches. A lot of churches have commercial kitchens and they will let you rent it. Doesn't matter if you're a member of the congregation. It doesn't matter if you believe Jesus was a lie. They will still let you go.
Yep.
I know the Latter-day Saints, what do they call it? Mormons often have those in like every metro. There is a cannery and they will let you do stuff. And then a lot of times our chefs have literally offered like, hey, just give us your recipe, give us the product, we will do it for you and we will give it back to you at cost, and it will literally just help me pay my guys' wages so that they get their hours.
I was actually kind of thinking with some of my chefs it would be, I don't know, maybe an opportunity to collaborate with them on some of these mixes or something. That would be
great.
If it also led to
you could do like sauces, like mushroom bolognese or Oh, yeah, that's a great
I just
idea.
want to hire a chef in the future. I feel like is
right,
and
I'll justify it later.
Honestly, they make magic. It's amazing.
But, you know what's funny to me is every time we've ever gone to eat at a restaurant, they're always like, "Man, we couldn't do this without your product." And I'm like, "Dude, I've cooked my product. It does not taste like this at home."
Exactly.
Like, yes, you could do something good, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But thank you.
I was gonna say, please keep telling me that.
Yes, please keep buying. But I know you're lying.
Yes.
So Cheryl mentioned something about that she thought that Tennessee recently lost its cottage food law.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
But if you go on to the Institute for Justice, which is a nonprofit law firm, it said that in 2022, Tennessee allows cottage food business to hire full-time employees and sell at retail outlets. And the law also banned municipalities from imposing additional regulations on cottage food businesses. So it's actually increased the types of places that you can sell it at. And it specifically lists spices and dried spices.
Yep.
So
I went.
Sorry for the smell, Cheryl. I just saw what she wrote in chat. Of those reishi I brought in, that's probably because that reishi been sitting in my backpack for 3 days. But she says it smells
awesome.
like it smells like raw sewage. It did come from the creek, so yeah.
So not raw sewage, but water.
Well, and to be fair, not a sewage creek, an actual it was Mossy Creek. It'll be the Mossy Creek reishi, I hope. But just so you know, Cheryl, reishi always smells bad. Like when you start cutting it and stuff, it's always.
Think so.
Oh my gosh, it's like it makes me want to gag sometimes.
We literally put some on the dehydrator yesterday, and we got it
rain you out of the house.
Huh?
Rain you out of the house.
It's not that bad, but it
can be pretty close.
It was, I mean, this was stuff that we grew and harvested and put straight on. It wasn't as bad. Yeah, but it was definitely every time I'd,
commercial reishi has never bothered me. It is the wild reishi, though. It does have a bit of a musk to it, and I think in part because it grows so long, like it takes forever, and then additionally it preserves itself forever. So you'll come across one and it'll look sort of pristine. You'll get in there and really look at it, and it just it's not.
Not. Yeah.
Oh shoot! She
It's got
said
that like shellac on the top.
she said she honestly wondered if I'd accidentally handed her a bag of dog poo. So that's not. No, I did not. Cheryl, hold on to those. Don't throw those away. Let me look at them after the live stream.
My goodness.
Yum.
I didn't mean to interrupt you with what you were saying with dog poo.
So instead of
We're talking
sticky
about commercial-
situations, we're talking about stinky
stinky
situations.
situations.
That morphed a little bit.
Oh, I wonder about mushroom powder bread. Is it possible maybe cut it with? Well, you definitely have to cut it with flour because it's not going to rise.
I've thought I want to put it in everything. So the shirt I'm wearing, guy.
There you go. You got to stand up to see the whole thing. There you go.
He wants to. The owner there. We're trying to figure out a way to put it into ice cream in the fountain.
Ooh.
So, and Erin just sent me a recipe. She's been reading a book with some candied mushroom that goes into like a topping. So,
Okay.
We're gonna get that figured
I'm
out.
gonna.
That sounds
So
awesome.
the Mossback Distillery just opened up not too long, about a year ago, right down the street from us.
Yeah.
Not Mossback, Mossy Creek Distillery. I always think Mossback. Their logo is really cool too. It's literally looks like back hair, just across the bottom. But I'm gonna go see if I can talk to them and do some of because I brew with mushrooms a lot.
Yeah.
And I really want to work with some of that. But then
Forest Dwellers
Blackberry,
Mead.
Forest Dwellers Mead. I gave that recipe to Blackberry Brewery.
Okay.
And so I'm really hoping to see some like cool stuff come out. Like I don't think they're gonna do mead or anything, but to see like a mushroom beer.
Yeah.
I actually saw where people were using, instead of hops to bitter stuff, they were using reishi to bitter their beer, and I thought that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I like it. I forget what they call a medicinal beer, but I'm intrigued by medicinal beer. That way I'm not drinking, I'm medicating.
Self-medicating.
Heck, I have a prescription for this.
That's right.
Oh, gracious.
Something interesting I found out. Sorry, I jumped back to the dried stuff for a second.
No, please.
There was one thing. So this is Tennessee specific, but it might be worth looking into. So through the UT Ag department, they connected us with someone who will actually do water content testing for your product. And it was like the first step of getting into a commercial kitchen. But you'll get like a certificate for your dried. Basically, it satisfies a lot of farmers markets' needs to let you do some basic stuff there.
That's awesome.
And it is the first step. It's worth reaching out to,
Yeah.
at universities and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were super ready to help us too. I mean, yeah.
I like that. So, I've noticed that weirdly enough, the mycology department in Knoxville was about as unhelpful as they could possibly be. In fact, he asked me where I went to school, and I told him I went to school, and he wouldn't talk to me hardly after that. So I don't know if it's like an academic thing, but most of their agricultural resources were very open. Like they UT agricultural extension agents around here will help you with a lot, like almost anything, like getting into farmers markets or telling you where to go find laboratories to test things. Or so I don't know if other states have extension agents like we do, but
I think they do.
Would
sure
they?
they do.
They would have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are so many of our extension agents out of U? Is it literally it's a UT? It's not a Tennessee Department of Ag. It's a UT extension agent. So
Yeah, that is where and he's in Nashville
Okay,
all the
so
way.
yeah.
But that's exactly, it's from the university. So maybe,
yeah.
but there are, even
need
if
to
it's not
find one.
that, that was ask people at the farmers markets carrying stuff.
All beer is medicinal.
Yeah.
Of course,
best answer.
Of course, Ian would say that.
And John.
Jen said
there
it
we
too.
go. I love it.
Cheryl said, "Well, I'll be your liaison, Andrew. They'll talk to me because I was EEB at UTK. So I know UTK stands for University of Tennessee Knoxville. I don't know what EEB is. So we'll have to talk clarification afterwards. But I'm definitely down with that.
See, that's why they won't talk to you.
Right, because I don't know anything.
You just need to get the lingo down with Cheryl, and then you'll blend right in.
Works for me. We have. I'm still fascinated with the 50-50 sausage mix, and I'm pissed I've never see it in the shelf at the store. Is that from where I guess we were talking about a Michi's sausage and mushroom mix stuff, or back in the day?
I guess so.
Or is there another type of 50-50 sausage that I'm unfamiliar with?
I don't know.
Okay. See, okay, good. If you guys are unfamiliar with it too, then I'm all right.
Well, we just mentioned Chris gave us a sample of the sausage, and it was really good. And he just had some excess mushrooms and threw it in a sausage and utilized it, and it was awesome.
Gotcha.
So, if you make your own sausage, I highly recommend it. It was really good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Some of the best sausage I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, so EEB, Ecology and Evolutionary Biology.
Okay.
So that's the department mycology is in. So thank you for that clarification. And then Zaphod said that my extension agent is through my county in North Carolina. So maybe that's part of it as well, is that it's a county across the university program.
Yeah. Yep. Might have to. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be different, all that in different states, but
Yeah. Marissa said every time you guys talk food, I can't shake it. Talk about that sausage thing. All right, so
Wait till we start doing like tours to the restaurants and ordering mushroom dishes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that I've got a lot of chefs that have given me permission to go up and film them, and I have not done so yet.
It's gonna be amazing.
I am certainly hoping so.
We've actually had a few chefs offer to come to the podcast as well, so that would be
Okay.
I'm really excited
Well,
about
pick
that.
one and ask them when they can show up. It's on a Wednesday.
Okay.
But
I don't know if we could do Wednesday. It might be that we have to do it on a weekend.
If we got to do that, we can do it. We'll figure out something. Josiah,
yes.
more sticky situation.
We can go back to the farmer's market, running into other farmers, maybe at the market, and
Let's do that
initially.
because we've got about 15 minutes before we're going to shut down.
Okay.
So
I am now the third and most recent vendor at the big farmers market. I'm the biggest vendor now, but the most recent, and I'm at the end of the market and constantly hear now, oh my gosh, more mushrooms. Everyone's doing mushrooms now. More lion's mane. Like, this is all day I hear.
wow, I've never that was not something I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, because we're pretty evenly spaced out, so it's like market. You walk by mushroom farm, you get a few more boosts, a few more. There's another mushroom, a few more. Yeah, so with that, the number one thing that because there's one there that, first off, I would say be friendly is like one of the biggest things you can do because it makes the next part easier.
Yep.
But what I've done is I just pay attention to what they're growing, and people just, like I said earlier, with dried mushrooms and stuff, they'll just buy at the farmer's market if it's something different. So I don't, there's one of the farms mainly just grows oysters, and he likes golds are like his big special ones. So I occasionally have golds, but not that often.
Yeah.
I rotate through.
Whenever I start relying really heavily on restaurants, golds kind of took a back seat because they don't seem to be as popular with restaurants as they are at farmers markets, which is sad because I think golds are one of the better tasting ones, but
Okay, you have those. It's a more divisive one for me.
yeah.
And I feel like maybe this is somewhat strain dependent as well with golds.
I think
but
so because I hate the only gold I like is gold 140 from Lambert's.
That's good because that's what I just put to.
Good. That's the gold that's the gold we grow.
Yes.
And it's the only gold I have ever found that's not a brittle piece
Crumbly.
of crap by the time you pick it.
That's why I don't what I don't like about golds.
Yeah.
That's the other reason why it's so easy to steer away from.
And they're so light.
Yeah.
Even though we pack
Yeah.
by volume, you can still pack a box completely to the top with golds,
And
and
it'll
it
be
weighs like
like-
8 pounds.
Yeah.
or 7.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. How
Gold-
do you
gold-
sell that?
Gold 140. I remember in the basement we would be picking I'd be on a step ladder.
Yeah.
And I'd have the cart down there, right? And I would just pick the gold and toss it, and pick the gold and toss it because gold 140 it will fall, and then it does like this little accordion, and then it just goes right back to what it was.
Nice.
No breakage, no whatever. So
Okay.
that's why we switched that over to our mainstream gold like a year or two ago. Like just that is all I sell with gold. I do have other gold strains, but it's only because I'm about to start breeding golds. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise I agree. Gold is like a divisive one. It's we have some chefs who will be like, I will never want a gold again, and then some are like, yeah, I'll take some golds occasionally. So
Yeah,
But
yeah.
farmers markets, I used to sell the crap.
They do, and it can be, almost anything there with color draws people over. But that's been the biggest thing with dealing with other farms at the market there, kind of working together. Mm-hmm. I mean, that one, I just observe and recognize what he grows. The other farm, I am friendly enough with that he actually buys stuff from me, and I'm trying to slowly move myself like you, with all, not necessarily like you, but as all these other farms come up, I'd like to, it's nice to sell blocks every once in a while and things like that. So that's what you can do by, I like to look at them as potential, partners or even business opportunities. So rather than going up and being just,
yeah. Well,
there's 3 mushroom farmers here.
There's 3 other mushroom farmers here would be the scarcity mindset.
Exactly.
So but if you're like 7 mushroom farms in our area and all.
Well, no, there's actually more than that because you got to think there are smaller farms. There's a farmer now that sells at the Dandridge Farmers Market. I think he sells up in Cott County and stuff as well, like across the lake. There is, I think, a grower in Morristown now. There's got to be other growers in Knoxville.
I was going to say, if there's that many right around you, then I imagine there's several popping up. And I hear it from at least 3 or 4 people at the market a day. I had some guy come up and tell me he was going to start a mushroom farm, and he asked a couple questions. He's like, all right, I'll just call you if I ever need, I got questions or anything. And I was...
Yeah, go call me. Call me, man.
Yeah.
Call me and let me know what you're thinking.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, no, and the coolest thing to me is when people come to me for advice, I can literally advise them in a way that I think is going to make them money and be successful for them, but is going to keep them a little bit away from my money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I've already talked to you. We've got a mushroom. I'm not announcing this until the video comes out, but I do have a mushroom that we're experimenting with that we're about to start growing, specifically because, A, there's no competition for it, but B, I want to bring another piece of gourmet mushroom into culture.
Another revenue stream.
Yep. And it's going to affect me. I'm going to sell the liquid culture. I'm definitely going to make money on that, which is great. But it also means that there will be a whole new species that is in the commercial mix. That is about as easy to grow as oysters, we're hoping. And opens up, okay, well, let's say, Josiah, you're selling oysters. You decide that oysters are going to be your specialty. Well, next thing you know, I'm selling this. And now the 2 chefs are looking, well, gosh, it's not like just because they want this one that they're going to stop buying oysters entirely, because they already buy other mushrooms as well.
Yep.
It's like vegetables. They don't stop buying broccoli because they've got enough asparagus.
Yeah. Same thing as at the farmer's market. If it's variety, if they can do something different with it, different flavor, it's not, they'll do it. And
I don't, people freak out. So many people freak out thinking that, there's all these farms popping up. So I'm going to, just like you were talking about, you can go to them, you can kill them with kindness, you can offer them advice, you can help them be successful, in which case they're not bloodthirsty and out for blood from you, because they're thankful for you. Their success is yours. But beyond that, this market's nowhere near mature. And
which also makes a lot of this much easier, because there will be a day when it's a little more difficult than just there isn't as much room.
I agree.
So,
and I think there are 2 things for that.
Okay.
They're going to be treated. Number one, I think biologicals are coming down in the marketplace. So biologicals used to be something that only big nurseries, breeding companies, was it Gurney's, selling to Lowe's. Well, and I mean, people even before that, people used to sell plants and things. But you've got farming is not the only option to make money in mushrooms. You have people need to do strains. There is still no one that I know of that offers carefully trained strains for substrates. There's no one who is bred they can't get soy in such and such place. Nobody's bred strains of oyster mushrooms to do well in rice holes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, rice holes are everywhere. If someone did that and then specifically said, this is Lambert's 123 blue variant rice hole trained or whatever, that you would have a whole subsection of that. I don't think it's going to stop there. You've got people doing specialty yeasts and everything else. So I think that the market is still expanding, number one. But number two, there are different strata that you and I can attest to that are not mature in the mushroom world.
Yes.
The supply industry is... Seth is definitely giving some stability to it that did not exist before.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still, like, the chain link above him is still unicorn.
It's another one on my list.
Is it? Okay.
Is when you can't find supplies.
I don't know that we're going to have enough time to...
That's all right, but...
Yeah, but, I mean...
Sorry.
We'll cover it another time. But
the next episode when it gets even stickier.
Right. But, I mean, it's to me, it's one of those things where this market is nowhere near mature. The aquaculture industry is still maturing, and it's been around a whole heck of a lot longer than mushrooms have. And if you get into it and you get into the farmer's market and the restaurants are just the easiest way to enter into the marketplace. Oh my gosh, we've not even touched medicinals. Like, people can grow, like, if you can grow oysters, you can grow reishi. Mm-hmm. And grow an antler form reishi, just drying it. The guy that taught me, he doesn't do it anymore, grew reishi twice a year, dried it, had a single website with a single sales page where he just literally had dried reishi strips bagged up in his garage. When he get an order, he'd go out to his garage, slap a label on it, ship it out.
It was like artisan format almost. Like they were spiraled, weren't they?
He would do spirals or zigzags or just based on the direction of the light. Like he had a little light he would move. And
it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Like
it's
fun.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. Like, and it's, he was selling it for $96 a pound. And you know, reishi doesn't hardly lose water when you dry it. When you dry it, it's still heavy. So then you're thinking like there's still cordyceps, there's turkey tail, there's capsules, there's tinctures, there's like if you want to serve the mushrooms, it doesn't have to be farmer's market. It doesn't have to be anything else.
Someone at the farmer's market actually asked me if we sold supplements for dogs. Because she's buying for like $50 a small container that she sprinkles it on her dog food, and I'm just sitting there thinking, that's an insane amount of to pay. Why don't let me research this. You can just
we have
that's
someone
crazy.
Trying to give they give their cat lion's mane powder that they get from us. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Which is like cool.
I don't know what the effect
I don't either.
Is,
but back when we sold kits, I don't know how many people ordered another kit because their dog ate their kit.
Oh, you just touched on another one. Kits. No one has learned the kit game yet. I've not seen everyone who's tried the kit game hits the wall. They all hit a wall.
It's with customer service.
Yeah,
has been the biggest thing. They become overwhelmed, and
that or production because a small guy like in a basement will try to take on the entire kit industry, and it quickly finds out that there is way more demand than you can ever produce in a single location.
I know Jesse Campbell from Missing Meadow Farms has really touched on this, and he has very high hopes, and he's very enthusiastic about it, and so I'm really excited to see what he ends up doing. But
was it mushroomkitclub.com that he
Mushroom
had?
Kitclub.com.
Yeah, I know it's a mouthful. I don't know if he's still running it because I know he was doing kits and he did some cool ones. In fact, someone asked what would be your 4 favorite strains for a kit. I do want to get everyone's answer. Cool Touch is my first one right there, based on Jesse's experience, and that's really just because it morphs from a blue to a white with a blue stripe, and people like to see that color change. But beyond that, like I still think the kits could make big money as long as you get as long as you pay high quality attention to quality customer service.
Absolutely.
Because it's all about experience with the kits.
That's why I'm very hesitant to put kits out as much as...
It's hard for introverts, man.
And it is just... It's more a time thing for me, too. It is very draining. I don't mind it. It's how I kind of... One of my first main experiences with mushrooms was a kit. So it's a cool thing to offer, but, I had a customer today call me, I said, from a different phone number trying to, get me to... and he was concerned because Mother of Pearl pinned blue, and he thought it was contaminated. So he just didn't pay attention to the person even selling him the block. And it's just people that are going to buy your blocks. But
and this is where you put in the infrastructure. we do videos on it. We
I have
answer
a
the
video.
super simple
Yeah,
questions.
that's what
I have a
Even-
video. I have instructions. I have all these things. I have a QR code on it that all you have to do is hold your phone up to.
That's the big thing with
You put
kids
it-
is that no matter what you do, you will be hand-holding.
Exactly.
But if you're okay with, I'm not okay with that. I know that I seem very friendly here, but you can quickly ask people around here. Like my father, one of my father's friends legitimately asked him, like, "Hey, Andrew's hiring, right?" And Dad's like, "No, Rodney,
Don't do it.
Don't do it, Rodney." And like, Rodney's like, "What? Why, man? You don't think I'll work for him?" And Dad's like, "No, it's not about that. Andrew's not cute and cuddly like I am, man." And I was like, "Come on, Dad, I'm not like an asshole. I just every now and then I get in a mood and I'm firm." So,
Extra firm.
yeah.
Extra firm.
But, it's just the way Samantha.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone has a breaking point, and that was kind of something else that I wanted to talk about on the sticky situations. Is we all have that pressing point, and how do you handle yourself when you are backed up against the wall? That was a big one that I wanted to hit on today, but I think we're running out of time, so we'll have to carry it over to another.
Well, that's all right. Let's do get. So I said cool touch, and I can do another 3 if I need to. But Samantha, think about what your 4 favorite strains would be for a kit selection. Josiah, I'm gonna put you on the spot because I figure you've already got it.
The ones we put out there. So you took mine. I like Mother of Pearl and Cool Touch.
The color change, man.
People love that as
Yeah.
long as they understand that it's going to take
Right.
place and they remember you told them. I said it, I think, last week, but Bear's Head goes in there. A lot of people like Lion's Mane and trying to grow those.
And
I've
Bear's
had,
Head's like the easiest. Yeah.
dude, it just grows. I give it to my family and everyone. And then, I mean, I can get to 3. The main 3 that we do is those 2 oysters, and then we do King Blue.
For kits.
We give people, King Blue does pretty,
Okay.
it grows.
I really wondered about that because I do know that King Blue, as awesome as I think it is and as much as I love it, it does have a weakness for blotch.
So, that's most people that I've seen, they struggle with the dryness.
Okay, more than
we don't tell people to put a humidity tent
We
or
don't
anything.
either, yeah.
We try to, it's cut and spray. And I lean towards those 3 strains.
Okay.
The Bear's Head and then Cool Touch or Mother of Pearl. We
Right.
we just bring our extra production blocks though. So
That's what we do,
we
too.
give almost everything as a kit. And
We used to call them monster kits because
Yeah.
it was like it was the biggest kit on the market.
Exactly.
At the time, but it's not anymore. Everybody does that now.
yeah, they are. It makes it difficult to get them there. My goodness, to get that many of them. I mean, I sold 6 kits this past weekend at the market, but that's like an extra 100 pounds plus to take down there.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Samantha, your 4 favorites.
So I want to say King Blue, but when we have sold King Blue as kits in the past, so we have a pharmaceutical rep who is awesome, and he thinks of us every
Mikey
Christmas.
Mike!
Yeah, and he comes down and he buys kits, and he sends me pictures and gives me feedback, and he'll take them as gifts to the doctors and stuff like that, and it's just a really fun time. But the King Blue oftentimes will kind of come back with the little pin sets, and they'll be dried out, and they'll look a little wonky, not the prettiest. Personally, I really like our watercolor oyster. It kind of has a neat, it looks like it has teeth going around the edge of it, which in that case it might be another what's wrong with my mushroom. But I go after the ones that look cool, that are really interesting. If you're going to grow it out of a kit and it's going to be a novelty thing, make it a novelty thing. I like the golds. I feel like they don't need as much effort as far as the humidity goes. And they are really tender and fragile, and they tend to give like a nice big cluster. It's an easy win for a beginner, in my opinion. Plus, you've got that shock value of it being bright yellow. And I really like, I want to say Enoki, but
I just don't know if it'd be good for kit because I like Enoki's it's like my favorite. The Velvet Foot Enoki by was it Maginero, Jeff Maginero? Man, I freaking love that strain. But I don't know that I wonder if it would do okay as
I
a
saw someone They bought an enoki kit, broke it up, put it inside of a terrarium, put moss on top of it, little pieces of wood.
Oh, I would love to do a time lapse.
It
Oh
was
my
so
gosh, I
pretty.
should do a time lapse of that.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, we're doing this. But it was just so beautiful, and it was just gorgeous. And I went to Walmart the other day and found this big fish bowl of a thing for $10. I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this work. But that was kind of the biggest complaint is, kits don't look pretty. It's like, that's a way you can make a kit look pretty.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, have you seen on? I think he's on Instagram. I think it's Kinko Terrariums, Kinko Curie or something like that. I think he's Korean. It's Kinko something. But he makes these little terrariums, like moss terrariums, and then time lapses mushrooms growing out of them and stuff. So that may be the way because I've always wondered, like, how do you make that, and how do you know when it's going to fruit? Like that's. But now I know. Okay, I'm going to try it now.
Yeah.
And then my fourth one would probably be mother of pearl.
Yeah.
Because it just has such a lovely orb shape to it.
I agree. So that mother of pearl I found is really one that like people love or hate. There is no in between. I have not found anybody, and most of the time people are like, "Well, it just doesn't get big enough." But to me, it's like I just wait till
It's deceiving in when you harvest it in order to let it get big.
Yeah.
But dude, I just harvested a wall and they all weighed over 3 pounds. Like that's a big mushroom.
Oh yeah. Well, and a lot of people. So there's a common misconception I feel like in the mushroom world, which is you harvest the mushroom before the cap flips up. I think that's a misnomer. And I think that because I've learned that certain strains actually taste better after they flipped up. And certain strains do not. Like a blue oyster, I would not like a blue oyster to be blown out.
Nope.
But there are like the old road. The old road, if you picked it when it flips up, man, you would never get any weight off of it at all.
Yeah.
Because it flips up immediately.
Immediately. You got to let it get really fan out. It turns lacy on you and stuff.
Like it turns lacy and like
Frilly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
I love the color.
Yes. And the flavor on it, like the flavor just improves as it gets big.
Yep.
When we initially harvested it and did a video on it,
does
I
look
said that
old,
the yield
though.
was not all that good because we picked it when you're supposed to pick mushrooms. But screw that. These guys in the commercial groups don't always know what they're talking about. They're dealing with the same three strains all the time. Like, I did not know how different things could be until we started breeding mushrooms. Until we started growing a bunch of different strains, and the next thing you know, they behave so differently. Mother of pearl is the weirdest thing in the world. It comes out in every direction, like it's forgotten which way is up, which way is down, and then you just pick it when every single mushroom's flipped up and turned white. Like as far as I'm concerned, that's actually a selling point. It tells you when to pick when there's no more blue left.
Yeah.
But
I like to pick them when they're younger, and it's that orb, and they're all flat. Like it reminds me of those little.
It looks like lily pads.
Yeah, or nasturtiums.
Or a nasturtium, yeah.
Did you ever play with that ball as a kid that had all the suction cups all the way around 360?
Yes. Okay. Yep.
That's what it reminds me.
We used to throw it at the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's good.
Or you try to roll it and it just wouldn't roll.
Okay. So you've done yours and you've done yours. Okay. So I'll do mine. For kits. Okay. So Cool Touch is definitely my first pick, just because of the color change and the ease of growth. I think at this point, I would probably do something like Super Scallop, just because of how weird it looks.
Okay.
Gosh, I thought about that.
So
one.
I don't ever talk about Super Scallop. It is it's a moneymaker in the just waiting in the wings. I've been holding off on making a video on that one for a while, but I love it because it has that scalloped edge, looks like a clamshell, and I've definitely had some kits go out with it. And people freak out, because of how wrinkled and awesome, it looks cool. Plus, the flesh is much like the North Spore snow oyster, so it's a really good quality flesh. And then
I remember when we bred that one too. I thought it was a total fluke. I was like, there's no way that we can repeat this. It was just a weird temperature change.
Yeah, we brought it back. Like we tried it again, and then we did a whole wall, and it was like, oh my gosh, every single one of these looks like a clamshell. Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. I should have been thinking about mine when you guys were talking, but I was so involved in what you were doing. So I would do Super Scallop. I would do Cool Touch. I think that I would let people maybe grow, like a Rocky Top would be a good one for me out of my catalog, just because it presents differently so often.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's kind of a white color, sometimes it's a really dark blue, and sometimes it's brown. So
it's taken me a while, but I have that in the grow room right now for like the first time where I've really had it in quantity, and I've been enjoying it. That's another tricky one with the pick.
it is.
Where it's like, looks like it's ready for a day, and then
Yep.
it's like, oh, it just got, twice as big. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one, though. And I think the same reason, because I never know what it's quite going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually really, I like that. How they could pick it young, they can pick it old, they can pick it whatever, and they're still going to like win out basically. But so Rocky Top, Super Scallop, Cool Touch. I've got to find a fourth, so I'll do it a Hericium. I think I'll go with you on Bear's Head. Bear's Head's just so easy to grow, and it's good. So
That too.
yeah.
I've often thought about a compartmentalized box that had 4 sections, and you just do the smaller unicorn bags, and then you do like the creams and buffs and do 4 strains of, and then it's got like a little perforated square that you can stick your finger in and pop out, and then cut it on all 4 sides, and you could have 4 different strains that grow 4 different things.
How
cool would that be?
So build a cardboard insert, goes in a bag,
Yeah.
and then you just inoculate the.
Oh no, not like that. Oh, that would be awful.
Guys, she just craps on all my ideas.
That's not true. I highly encourage very many of them.
I will be doing a workshop on at-home mushroom cultivation at the Memphis Mushroom Festival this weekend. So far, I will definitely teach how to make and grow in buckets and shotgun fruiting chambers. What other things could I teach and or should stress? And we'll make this our last question if that's all right, because it's already almost 10 minutes past. So, Josiah.
You could do some outdoor stuff there. I mean, I guess buckets can go, but people around here
Like logs?
love shiitake logs.
Yeah.
If that's something to incorporate, and the hands-on part of that. It's not even something I've done, but I've seen for one of the farmers markets does a workshop every winter, and they sell out the second they post it.
Every time we've done log workshops, we've always sold out. But we've not done one in like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So.
And it took quite a bit of prep to just, make sure the
It's not easy.
lots
yeah.
were fresh, that they were cut at the right time of the year, that we had enough dowels.
That could almost be its own thing,
And
honestly.
people
it
would
can
drop
be,
them, and you wanted to make sure you had access.
Yeah.
Enough tools for every person. That was, yeah.
Okay. I like that. Outdoor stuff. So we're talking logs, bed agriculture.
I was thinking wine cat beds and things like that are fairly
I like that.
easy.
Plus, if you've got the spawn there at the workshop, you can sell that like
Exactly.
crazy. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And plug spawn. So, and you
There
can
you
do
go.
plug spawn. Like I used to do plug spawn of oysters. I would do a shiitake log workshop, but because there's so much more involved with that than with oyster logs, I used to sell a lot of oyster plugs. And we would sell shiitake plugs too, but it was like I would definitely push people towards the oysters because A, it was faster and easier for me to grow, which meant B, it's faster and easier for them to grow. So, okay, I like that. You got any ideas, Samantha? What should she stress at an at-home mushroom cultivation course? Or he. Sorry, I saw the name Mykola, and I didn't think about that being a mushroom name, not a woman's name.
So at home, just off the land strictly? Are we
I don't
talking
know.
about-
I'm just assuming hobbyist level. Like I just want to grow mushrooms for food production and some medicinal stuff at home.
Creating and using mushroom compost in your gardens is what I would stress.
That was actually one of the big things that drove us, Samantha and I, to mushrooms in the first place. Is we wanted to farm.
We started with wine caps.
Yep. And we
went
were
from
looking
there.
at fertility.
Okay.
We thought mushrooms would be the foundation of a farm because they are the produce the fertility. I like that you went straight there. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
And it made everything else grow in an enormous amount of abundance. Like, it was nothing really. I am awful with plants. I love plants. I love them so much. They do not like me.
Oh, that's
until mushroom compost.
I was gonna say that's not entirely true because your roses are busting out. But yeah, that's Samantha.
They're taller than the house now.
we
Look, I have pictures.
Oh my gosh! And it's
Wow.
like they're like the rosebuds are that far away from each other. It is. They're completely covered, top to bottom.
Yep.
Old ladies in the neighborhood keep going on their walks and they keep stopping and they're like, "What are you doing?"
What are you feeding these things?
Yeah. And so
And they're like,
man.
you're just gonna disappear one day. The roses would have eaten you, you know, because I'm like waving and jumping now.
yeah, like so we have our front porch is now this like little alcove that you can't like we can go sit on. We can watch through the gaps, but people can't see you. Like when, and
Yeah.
you're just behind this big like people are just like looking at the roses and you can sit there and watch their faces.
Want to carve out little portholes, like, so I can see.
Little portices, like little arrow slots.
Oh man.
It's
I
gonna
like
be
that.
awesome. Do windows.
Okay. I'll say that if you can, I think that I would talk about not just that end, but also maybe go into how to build a glove box and how to work with liquid
Okay.
culture in a glove box. So have a pressure cooker and a glove box. You can do, at this point, I don't think there's any reason for most people who grow at home to have a flow hood. Between liquid culture and a glove box, a really cheap Sterilite bin glove box, using bleach, not alcohol, I think that most people can really get away from having a at-home lab, and this opens it up. Like people will be able, like it'll become as simple as starting plants for gardens. Like starting spawn will become one of those things people do every year who are into growing their own food or brewing their own beer. They might start streaking plates for their yeast, you know, for that. Like I think this is going to be a very normal thing for certain people to do. So.
And here's another thing: teaching it as a class where mushrooms are the base of so many other things. Like we have so many projects at the house that we are using the byproduct of the mushrooms. I mean, we've got the quail as well, and Jackie and I went out there and busted up blocks, and you know we've got the super worms
dirt
growing in
baths.
them, and just put them in a tray, and immediately they hopped in, started eating the super worms, and then started taking a little bath in it, and it was just the coolest thing to watch. So you've got that, and then you know we do a lot of stuff with our aquaponics with the leftover mushroom you know, compost tea. We pour that in there, and then
Yep, the
we've
worm
got-
wormweed goes in the fish tanks.
and we have so many things growing out of that, and then we get to enjoy the shimbunkin and the goldfish and small butterfly koi and all
not
this
to mention
other
all the
stuff.
food that we get because we grow watercress, water spinach, water chestnuts,
Yep.
duck potatoes. What else am I missing? Oh, water garlic and water celery and
We got a lot of mint out there.
mint and predatory plants and all
Yep.
kinds of stuff. So
a lot of water flowers too, like irises and
marsh marigold and
Yep.
lizard's tail and
it keeps the house cooler surrounding the house with all of this. Whenever we do water changes, we just open the valve. It goes straight into the garden. There's just so many things that you can do. You don't have to squish it all down into one thing. We don't have to all like having everyone together, all kind of competing. You can expand it out. It doesn't have to be just mushrooms. Anyway.
yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a great opportunity.
We're going to go to market as a mushroom farm and sell goldfish.
Well, we'll sell goldfish and aquatic plants and quail and eggs and meat and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so
And
Mushrooms
all of
and
it came
things.
mushrooms and things. Yeah.
Yeah, mushrooms and
Ben said that we should start a mushroom farm. We should call it maggots and mushrooms, and I was like, that is no.
No. Why
Erin
would you
just
do
showed
that?
me a cordyceps farm that was like maggot brain farms or something, and I'm like, you've locked yourself in there.
While
But-
I commend you,
Yes, I was neat.
I commend you, and I feel like I don't need to tell you this. I feel like you knew what you were doing.
You-
so.
I hope so.
Well, with that, y'all, this has been the MushRune Cast, and we have been with Samantha and Josiah. And I don't know if you guys have any final words to end on. But
Take care, y'all.
take care, y'all. Yeah, I like that. Keep spawning culture, y'all.
Bye.